Before I start this video, I just want to answer a commonly asked question, especially after set 4 is dropped. The question being, if I use Tier 4 Malice and retire Roaming Prison Dragon, doesn't matter how many, by the end of Alchemagic, will I be able to resurrect the Roaming Prison Dragon? And the answer is yes. The specific reason is because technically the order of Alchemagic, and I have it pulled up right here, the order of Alchemagic goes as follows. Declare Alchemagic, bind a card, pay costs, reveal order from hand. And even so, this was answered in the set 4 Q&A, specifically regarding Cursoul, Squirming, and Agony. And so because of that, technically, an order is considered being played when it begins to resolve, which is why when you retire Roaming Dragon off of Tier 4 Malice, it will be in the drop zone by the time Tier 4 Malice starts resolving. So therefore, you get a free body, a countercharge, and a draw, and something in soul, and then a dumb 15k 2 crit beater. Let's go. Hello everyone, I'm Gingy Snaps. Welcome back to Deck Profile. It's set 4 time, and we got Zorga! We got Zorga back, baby! It's been a while. There was a while where Zorga and I were just not vibing, but after set 4 with everything that came out, I definitely feel a lot better playing the deck. This is more of a tanky version. I do want to say that. I think this is much more of a balanced defensive option than a hardcore aggressive version, so take that with a grain of salt. I am a very defense-ish oriented player. I like decks that can tank a lot, so I built Zorga as such. So, without any further ado, let's get right on into it. The Rye deck is one Officer Cadet Charlecles because, A, we flip this up, our opponent's automatically, hopefully, going to be on the brain set where it's like, they're playing Flagberg, 5-head, but then we see Rancor Chain, Husk Dragon, and Zorga, and then they're like, huh, I guess I'm playing against Zorga. So, yes, Rancor Chain, on right, Soul Blast 1, draw 2, discard an order. If you don't discard an order, you discard 2. It's fine. It's a 10k booster if you played an order without power-ups. It's nice. Husk Dragon gets you back a normal order when placed on the Vanguard Circle. Cool. It's a 15k attacker if you play an order that turn. Really nice. Zorga, heart and soul of the deck. Zorga is what allows Alchemagic to happen. And for a counterblast, you get to revive anything from your drop zone, which is phenomenal. 3 Persona Rides, because Persona Ride is a great mechanic and we haven't received a grade 4 version of Zorga yet, so for right now, we play the 3 copies of Persona Ride. This is, I feel like this is what I'm going to get roasted for in the comments, but 2 Roaming Prison Dragon. I do want to play 4, don't get me wrong. I can't find room for it. I truly cannot. There are 3 cards, maybe, that I can find spots for, but because this is a tanky version, taking out those for maybe 1 card, realistically, for the 3rd Prison Dragon, but the other 2 cards, not so much, because at that point you're starting to veer off a tanky build of this, and I want to maintain a tank build. So, as stated at the beginning of the video, when you play a normal order, you can call it to rearguard, and then it applies one of the following effects. If you Alchemagic, you get both effects. Effect 1 being, it gets 10k. Effect 2 being, it gets an extra crit. So if you Alchemagic, boom, free 15k body with an extra crit. Put this behind, or put this in front of a Rogue Headhunter, played an order, not including the power buffs from either the order or Persona Ride or anything. That is a 28k column 2 crit. That is a front trigger, which is nice, or a 2-card guard, which is also very nice. This is a phenomenal attacker, and when I get to the grade 1s, I'll talk about it, but if I could play more than 3, or more than 2 rather, I would play 3. I wouldn't play 4 because at 4, I think it gets clogged in your hand, and you have basically just a grade 3 5k with no shield value. And for this particular format, my biggest grievance with it is that there is never enough shield value. So I built Zorga accordingly. So, which is why the deck is the way it is. Grade 2s. For Shadow Cloak. This is Foolish Burial for any of you who play Yu-Gi-Oh! On legs. It dumps any... Ooh, God. For those of you who don't know, my camera is opposite me, so trying to coordinate this upside down is really weird. Anyways, Shadow Cloak is Foolish Burial on legs. It dumps you any order that you don't already have in your drop zone. It's going to be your greatest turn 2 tool. Try saying that 5 times fast. When placed, you go ahead and search your deck, put this right next to a Skull Dragon, and automatically it's a 10-10 column. And your drop zone starts being set up for future turns, because the biggest issue with Zorga is that the moment you can't Alchemagic in any way, shape, or form, you lose so much momentum, and you're not going to be able to get back into the game. So, it kind of adds more to why I built this as a tanky version, because you need to be able to see pieces in both zones. It is a 2-zone combo deck. So, the other thing is that when you play an order, you can Soul Blast 1, and then have it get 5k. If you Alchemagic, you can return a rearguard. So you can revive a PG off of Zorga, and say you have a already established board, and you Alchemagic, have it get power, Zorga gets an extra drive, or whatever. You can then Soul Blast 1 and just return that PG back to your hand, and already you're kind of like, I'm set up for your turn. I'm set up for the crackback. Let's go, let's go. This is also the only grade 2 unit, and I want to talk about other choices and why I'm not necessarily playing them. Hendrina. I am a fan of Hendrina, and I tried looking for places where I could put in Hendrina, but milling 3 isn't necessarily coming up as much as I think it used to in the past, especially with Shadow Cloak being available. I just don't think Hendrina matters so much. The Soul Blast, making a Soul Blast free is fine, but the only Soul Blast that's in this deck, as you're going to see, is Spiritual Body Condensation. That's only a Soul Blast 1. It's a Soul Blast 1, so if you want to make Spiritual Body Condensation free and then save that soul for like a Shadow Cloak, by all means, I don't necessarily see the value in that anymore, but that's just a personal preference. The other one is this. I'm not going to bother trying to read its name. On paper, and I got it specifically to fool around with it. My grievance with this is that, A, it forces you into an Alchemagic, which, if worst case scenario, you're not going to get an Alchemagic, but if this is on your board, it's dead. It's only live turn 3 onwards, or turn 3 onwards. So on your first grade 3 ride, it's fine. You can attack with it, but it's not doing anything, unlike Hendrina or Shadow Cloak. And it goes to soul and countercharges you 1, but you have to use resources to get it out of the soul to then call it back, only for it to then go back into the soul. I'd much rather play Tearful Malice, which is what I'm actually doing. But that's why I'm not playing this, and Hendrina is kind of... I think its time has passed. I may come back to it, but for right now, I value seeing Shadow Cloak as a grade 2 more than I see the mill of Hendrina or anything. So, that's that. Grade 1s. The obvious 4PG. I don't know what you want from me. This is a tank build, and you're expecting not to play PGs. Pfft, get out of here. 3 Rogue Headhunter, being able to reduce being able to reduce Alchemagic Counterblast is really nice. It does stack, and the fact that it gets 5k when you play an order turns an 8k attacker or booster into a 13k attacker or booster. If you have Grief, Despair, Rejection, it's now a 23k booster, etc., etc., etc. You guys get the point. If you don't have anything in front of it, you can just push this up, and it still makes those magic numbers being 13, 28, or 13, 23, etc., etc. on a Persona Ride 33. Ooh! You know, keeps the magic going. 2, Carry-On Processing. Carry-On Processing, I love. Being able to Counterblast 1 and bind it is nice. Being able to get an order, not just a normal order. You can get any kind of order with this. We're gonna get to that. But just being able to get an order from your drop zone to your hand is really nice. I'm not a fan of on-hit skills, just in general, because I don't enjoy my opponent dictating what resources I have, if that makes sense. So being able to do this on command as an act is genuinely enjoyable for me. So, Coochie. So Coochie is what I would replace with the 3rd Roaming Prison Dragon. But let me explain why I play Coochie. So, Coochie doesn't have shield value. That's fine. We don't use Coochie for shield value. We use it because it's a 15k booster. If you put this behind a Zorga, until your opponent gets rid of the Coochie, center column is 28. Persona Ride 38. The column makes magic numbers, and then you can allocate other power boosting abilities like Grief, Despair, Rejection onto side columns, which I find to be really important considering the fact that the Roaming Prison Dragon is only a 5k. If we can allocate that power to, say, the back row, you know, we can have a 40k Roaming Prison Dragon column. And I think that's really beneficial because if we can focus on... Because realistically, the side columns in Zorga are more threatening than the Zorga column itself. But if we can make the Zorga column as threatening as we can and try to force PG or more cards out of their hand by default, it's going to be a better time for us. Especially if we try to play this long game. It's just... I think it's going to work out better for us. However, the more and more I'm leaning towards the 3rd Roaming Prison Dragon rather than have this Coochie. The Coochie is a copium 1-of, so it might not stick around. But it's in here, and right now I'm enjoying it. I got this from my friend Audie because of the same reason, where it makes a magic number. And the final grade 1, Sleeve Tugging Bell. I like resetting my bind zone into my drop zone. It gets big when it does that. Carry-On Processing puts itself into the bind zone. A Sleeve Tugging Bell just puts it back. We can recycle it now with Zorga. Just keep it going. It gets massive. It is huge. I love Sleeve Tugging Bell. I understand why people aren't running it, but me as a resource, as I grow older in Vanguard, I value maintaining my resources more and more. So always having access to never losing Alchemagic resources, invaluable to me. So that's it for normal units. Onto the orders. 2 Spiritual Body Condensation. It's Monster Reborn. It's Soul Blast 1, call 1 from your drop zone and gets 5k. It's simple, it's easy. Grief, Despair, and Rejection. Set 1 Classics. I don't see either of these leaving the deck for any near future. They're just so good. Monster Reborn and have it get 5k. Phenomenal. Counterblast 1 to basically reenact a Persona Ride on your first grade 3 turn. Mwah! Phenomenal. Makes magic numbers. Helps boost columns. So good. Counterblast 4 to draw 2. This is actually really good, especially if we recognize that I need to bulk up, so I can just Counterblast however many. It's reduced by 1 counterblast for every card in your bind zone. So carry on processing going to the bind zone helps reduce this for counterblast, basically. And just it keeps going. It searches through your deck, it digs into your deck, and just overall just gets you cards in hand, which is what my biggest issue with Zorga is. So, well, we'll get more to that. Tearful Malice! I've been waiting for a format where Tearful Malice is actually viable. Snow can suck it. I hate that deck. However, Tearful Malice being able to A, replenish soul, B, countercharge, and C, draw you a card, so nice. It's so nice, especially with the Roaming Prison Dragons. I can basically retire both of them, you know, if I have both. But I don't lose board presence, because if I have a Roaming Prison Dragon in drop zone, I can just call it back. So it's truly, with Roaming Prison Dragon, Tearful Malice becomes more free and less of a burden to run it than it has been in the past. Ye Wandering Souls. This is the one I'm most unsure about. It is discard in order to give your Vanguard an extra drive. It's cool, you know. That's really kind of all I gotta say about it. If I had to change any of my order lineup, probably this would be the first one to go. I don't know what I would replace it with, but it's neat. It's a one of. You guarantee dump it off of Shadow Cloak. You know, kind of. That's kind of all I can say about that. Whales. Whales is free regurgitation with two downsides, but one massive upside. Your opponent chooses, and you only call one. But that's fine, because the main thing about this is that it's free. There is no cost to this. Meaning, all we need to, if we Alchemagic with this, we really only need to worry about any other cost, which takes the load off of us as the player on managing our resources. So, you know, if we want to save our Soul Blast for a Shadow Cloak that's on our board, we can just, Whales, Alchemagic with Spiritual Body, revive 2 things, and then we can spend the Soul Blast, or the extra Soul Blast, rather. If we don't have a Counterblast, we can spend the extra Soul Blast on bouncing something, if that makes sense. If we have no Counterblast, we go this route. If we have no Soul, we go this route. Whales and Grief, Despair, Rejection, just to clarify. Just keep on going, if that makes sense. The fact that it doesn't have a cost is freaking nice. Now, we come to the Blitz Order department. And my friend Audie, whenever I complain about not having enough shield value, is always like, just play Blitz Orders. Up until now, I think the best Blitz Order for Stoic has been Ghost Chase, but that's only a 5k shield. It bounces 1, and it's during the battle phase, so if I'm going against Eugene, for example, Ghost Chase is useless because my board's going to be clear. So, but this one, because our soul isn't being used as much, realistically, the only soul that's being used is Spiritual Body Condensation. With this, Fine Drink of Abolishment for Sins. You Soul Blast 1, you draw a card, and then you get 5k shield, or a unit gets 5k power until end of battle for each order card with a different name in your drop and bind total. So with this, if I'm going to include itself, because I'm not going to act like over the course of the game I might use one and then the other one might be, in the drop. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 different names. 6 names if we don't want to include these. And so that's bare minimum plus 30k to the shield, which is nice. It draws you a card. I like drawing cards. I like being a tank deck. But just the fact where it gives you I'm trying it out, Audie. It's shield translation. So that's all I can say. It's a lot of shield in one card. So that's it for orders. 4 effect crits. Goes to soul, gives something 2k. The 2k, sure. Whatever. Make a you know, like a 47k column because it's bell boosting dragon, and then the bell has some arbitrary amount of power. Boost this to soul. It's now a 49, so it makes a magic number. You know. 4 effect fronts, because 20k shield is nice. If this was on a crit, would have been even better, but c'est la vie. 3 effect draws. You are playing a combo deck. You need to see your pieces as much as possible. Like I said earlier, the moment you stop being able to Alchemagic, you lose the momentum of the entire game. So if we can... defensive draws are the tits. Secondly, if we drive check this, it's 10k shield. Going draw trigger into draw trigger no longer feels so bad. But B, being able to draw into an order for next turn, phenomenal. Phenomenal. 4 heals because it's heals, and then Bless Favor, because over triggers are phenomenal. So that's it for Tank Zorga. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the profile in the comments. Be kind. I was aiming one way with this deck, and it works the way it is. So, hope you all enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. If you have any rulings, feel free to ask me in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.